Today's story is going to be a short one. It's about my singing debut on network radio. Yeah, I know. You don't think of me as a singer, and I'm not because I can't carry a tune in a bucket. But it was. I took advantage. I pushed an envelope. Okay, I pushed an envelope. Um, I was working freelance at the time here in Los Angeles, and I was working at KNX doing sports shift Saturday and Sunday. I was doing some freelance for UPI. I was working part time at a music station where, and I think it was KGFJ at the time. I was working there and doing news part time. And I was also picked up a gig where I was being paid like $5 an hour to go on the radio for uh, what basically was the inklings, the very beginnings of CNN radio, CNN sports radio. And basically what we did, a friend of mine named Eric, who used to work at ABC, organized this. And basically what happened was CNN was contracting to do 1 minute to, I guess it was 2 minutes. We had the 1 minute and then a 30-second commercial break and then a back end 30 seconds. So, and these were sportscasts. We'd do them twice an hour, and we did them out of the UPI studios because they had contracted with UPI Radio Network to use the studios. And it was just Saturday and Sunday. And it was twice an hour, I believe it was. And Eric had brought in all these retired guys who were big names in LA radio. Chuck Benedict, Chuck Bennett, just a whole bunch of people, and who had basically retired or they were on the edge of retiring, and they weren't doing anything. They'd come back for a weekend, and for $5 an hour, it was like, we're making $30-40 a day, but it was just fun, and it was an opportunity to do something on the ground floor because they felt if the CNN radio sports and the sportscast worked, then it would develop into something bigger, and we might all get jobs out of it, or at least be able to say we were the founders of this. Which and I was, this is the 90s, so I was just in my 40s, early 40s when we did it. So I mean, there was still a lot of growth potential for me. Most of the other guys were in their 60s; they're retired, and they were just kind of playing radio, and they enjoyed it. They enjoyed it so much; it was fun. So it was right in the middle of the baseball strike. So I guess it was 1995. No, I guess it was before that because I hadn't started at UPI Radio. So it was probably in the mid 80s. So anyway, whatever it was, it was a baseball work stoppage. They were talking strike. They hadn't gone on strike, and so anyway, we were trying to come up with unique ways because here we are, we're talking baseball, but it wasn't baseball. We're talking news and politics and things like that, which at that time was still fairly new as far as big in media because ESPN hadn't really burst on the scene to a big degree yet, and the dominance of sports radio and sports television was not there yet. And so the engineer for our show was in Atlanta. And so we did a remote in LA, and the engineer would turn the dials in Atlanta and put us on the network. And I decided I was going to open my sportscast with a takeoff on the song, "We're Talking Baseball." Okay. And so what I did was I substituted the words. I opened the sportscast. I didn't say good afternoon. I didn't open with a score. I just started. We're talking baseball, but we're also talking strike. We're talking baseball going down the pike. And it was maybe another few seconds of that. And everybody in the studio just turned and looked at me and like, and I found out later that it almost didn't get on, the whole thing almost didn't get on the air because the engineer in Atlanta thought he had the wrong state, had the dials turned to the wrong spot maybe a commercial or something like that. But he let it go long enough and he realized it was me. And then I went right in to my sportscast. I didn't say anything else but about that. I just went right into my sportscast and I came out of the booth at the end and the guys are all just laughing. They're just laughing. There's 3 or 4 guys in there. And Eric looks at me and goes, "Can you warn me next time?" And I said, "No, no, I'm not going to warn you. Because you would have told me no, and I was going to do this." So, and I said, "Eric, for $5 an hour, you can't tell me what I can't do." And so we all had a good laugh. And I didn't do that again, but there was no reason to. But I did it, and it was my singing debut on national radio and internet and network radio. So there we go. Thanks for joining me, and I appreciate you. Hopefully you laughed along with me. Thanks. We'll give you another story next time.